Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a high-level best of 3 between two fantastic players. In the top left spawning as our blue Protoss playing for Storm Gaming, it's MaxPax. And in the bottom right as our yellow Zerg player playing for Team Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's the man from Korea, it's Dark. Ooh, what do we see here? Is that a pool first, or is the hatch already gone down? Hatch has already gone down. Is this a Nexus first coming out of MaxPax? Okay, now we're talking. So a bit of an odd choice of a build order here. It's something we don't see every day. Well, something we honestly don't even see every single week. The only other Protoss player that I'm truly aware of who likes to play Nexus first is Astrea. And MaxPax and Astrea do share some things. Both of them kind of have their own build orders, their own little style. Perhaps it's the case with this Nexus first shenanigans as well. Dark is going to spot this relatively quickly as his first Overlord made its way across the map at a rather high pace. Gate will get spotted here, and obviously it's not going to get cancelled or anything like that. Core timing is just highly suspicious, right? Like, Dark scouts this and honestly just should build a single pair of links, and that's exactly what he's doing. Single pair of links just to chase the probe away from the third base location, but why would you need more? The first adept is going to be extremely delayed. Everything is going to be extremely delayed. MaxPax most likely will finish this salad up. So trying to run by with links also is a task that is rather useless. It will miss more like Mission Impossible. I think the moment this bad boy finishes, we're going to see a Stargate constructed in the main base. This could be for Oracle, but fairly often we actually see a Void Ray first coming out of an initial Nexus. I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning is behind that. Probably a little bit of added safety, especially if you open up with a Stalker rather than an Adept. Warpgate got delayed for a couple of seconds, and I do believe that Dark spotted that. And that means that he should be aware right now of the fact that this is going to be a Stargate opener and not some type of different Twilight or perhaps a robotics facility opener. Most of the time when people play a Twilight opener with Nexus first, you'll see a double gate start as well, and you won't see the Zealot. You see double gate, double adepts being chrono boosted out to get across the map very quickly. MaxPax needed a pause there, and Dark graciously granted that to him, even with the countdown and everything. Man, MaxPax such a tryhard, very well mannered. Love to see it. Ooh, a little bit of a supply block here for Dark, who can't start this queen quite yet. So we have our Overlord, well actually it's not very close to being done whatsoever. There's some larva floating right now as well. A little bit sloppy in the macro here is Dark. Trying to take out that probe, does not quite get it. The Zealot manages to push these two links away. In this type of scenario it would be nice to have more than two links, but it's hard to say if it would have been the correct call. I don't really mind Dark having built so little links so far in this game. It allows you to get as many drones and as many queens out as you want in life. That's really what Zerg is all about, drones and queens. Second spore is already being constructed. I think we saw one in the main base. It's an interesting position. Look at that. I thought this would block more, but it seems like it actually isn't blocking anything whatsoever. Maybe this one drone's path changes a little bit. First Oracle got one kill. I'm going to assume that that kill is a drone and not a link. Yeah, one worker has been killed. That must be the drone then. It's like, ooh. Are we going to be seeing perhaps Mass Oracle? Or is this for oh. Okay. Huh. Okay, so we're seeing a fleet beacon here. Now this is something a little bit MaxPaxy as well. He's one of the players that still loves to play carrier builds. And especially on this map. I've seen it before. Oh no. Dark opting to go for a NYDUS Queen Ling build. This is one of Dark's favorite build orders. And I'm not super surprised to see it come out in the first game. He fairly often plays it in the first game. There is a big tell, however, when he plays this build, is that his lair is extremely quick. This is the only build he does that has such a quick lair. So it's actually a straight up tell when you play against him. If any of you ever need to play against Dark, then, you know, just look at the lair timing. And if it starts before the 4-minute mark, 99% of the time it's going to be this build. A couple of links moving in right now. NYDUS network is about to finish up. I'd love the NYDUS network to be placed over here. This is a sick position for a NYDUS network. Yeah, this is beautiful, beautiful stuff. First 2 carriers are being produced right now. Dark, once again with a supply block. Second time in this game. First at 44, now at 82 out of 82. This is actually somewhat sloppy. There's 11 larvae available. Can't really use them. Has to build 6 overlords while link flooding. This is obviously terrible. 8 overlords. This is ridiculous. Basically doubled his overlord count there. A couple of cannons are being built. I'd love to see a full wall here. Without any ravagers, full walls are often difficult to fight against. Oracles could perhaps activate their pulsar beam, is indeed what's going to end up happening. Sentry would be helpful. Perhaps no full wall for MaxPax here. That was a mistake, surely. Definitely needed something of a wall there behind that initial zealot. Now could perhaps just full wall it. We have 1 carrier on the right side. Couple of links in the main are chasing this stalker away. MaxPax so far actually somewhat holding. I'm not saying that he's going to survive, but hasn't lost any workers whatsoever yet. NYDUS in the main base is going to get attacked right now by the carrier. If the queens pop out in the main, that would be honestly a pretty massive issue. Stalker zealots all moving, trying to take out this NYDUS. Dark is not going to pop into it. No, he's not. 2 carriers are out. They have full interceptors, basically, at this point. So like 12k, not completely full interceptors, but we're getting close. Tempest is out as well. The Oracles in the 3rd base should be capable of defending this base for a little longer. New cannon gets built. I'd love to see another battery as well. Tempest will help out, just having consistent damage output against these queens. It seems like Dark has decided that taking out the 3rd base is going to be his main priority. That means that there is a decent chance here that MaxPax survives. Now, if MaxPax survives and gets the counterattack with 5 Tempest and 2 carriers, that could be dangerous. We'll need to see a Spire come down right now here for Dark. He's already getting 6 gases. He's taking an extra base, but don't forget, his worker count is lower than what the Danish Protoss currently has. The only reason why MaxPax can't just move across the map is because of all of these queens. And well, the links also, of course, could run in, and that would be painful, to say the least. Spores are being taken out already here. 2 more Tempest on the way with 5 Tempest. You can one-shot queens, don't forget that. As the Spire indeed gets constructed. And with 6 gas, I hope all of those are mining. No, they're not yet. Really believe that should have priority over mineral mining at this point. If you get 8, 9 Corruptors out, I think you're going to be fine against 5 Tempest and 2 carriers, but I'm not even sure. I don't actually think so, now that I think about it. No. That is 7 massive Protoss units that are extremely expensive against, what, 7, 8 Corruptors? That shouldn't be enough. If MaxPax flies across the map right now, he actually has a timing, I think, where he can deal some serious damage. This is not what you should care about whatsoever, this creep. There is a potential to win a game here. And cleaning creep is nice, but it's not the priority. Oh no. Oracle will get taken out as well. Spire is about to finish up, and these units are just going to be staying at home. And with these units staying at home, I just don't think there's really a possibility for MaxPax to do anything 2 minutes from now. I mean, Dark's economy is absolutely exploding, getting up to 68 workers, going up to 8 gases, massively outmining his opponent when it comes to the gas. There will be somewhat of a charge slot all in behind this. We have +1 on air, but all of these things just aren't all that useful. And I think MaxPax realizes that as well. He's too scared to even move on the map whatsoever right now. He's like, okay, what if the Corruptors are going to hit me at this point? And it's a real concern. 19 queens are out. This has been a powerful queen push, and a lot of these queens stayed alive. 2 queens have died only during all of this, so 21 queens were built in total. Still a couple of queens just stuck in the NYDUS as well, ready to pop out at any time. Oh, they popped out on the other side, I guess. Yep, there we go. Lots of energy on these queens. Like, these Corruptors are never going to die at home unless you one-shot them. Corruptors start flying across the map. We have more on the way already. It's gonna go up to 14. NYDUS network gets taken out, but I mean, Dark is taking his 5th base before MaxPax is taking his 3rd, and that probably means that MaxPax is just dead. I don't think there's anything else we can say here. Yeah, 3rd base gets taken at the 10-minute mark. Probe line gets assaulted by these links. It loses 2 probes. I think more links went down there, but let's face it, it's not really going to matter. 19 queens, I don't think there's anything to kill those. And there's going to be 18 Corruptors as well. There's definitely nothing that can kill them bad boys. The only thing that slightly worries me, perhaps, for Dark, is if he doesn't build any roaches here. Because then all of a sudden these zealots might clear the queens. And yeah, I mean the corruptors would still win the air, but then maybe you die to zealots. But there is a roach war and roaches are being built. This game is absolutely 100% over. We're just waiting for MaxPax to realize this as well. That could take a little bit. Probably will just take Dark attacking into him for MaxPax to realize. First Disruptor is out, second Disruptor on the way. Templar Archives being built as well. Technically, if MaxPax survives on this army and gets into air tools, it might be possible, but let's face it, let's be realistic here. I don't think Dark is going to let him survive right now. Transfuse is being used. Corrupt on these Corruptors are... I don't even think a single Corruptor died yet. Now, 2 Corruptors have gone down, but 4 Tempests have gone down, 1 Carrier has gone down, and now the final air units will also end up dying. 1 more Disruptor shot, 1 Purification Nova to end it all. Actually hitting a fair chunk of the army. Super battery still available as well, could be used, but I mean, these queens are just not dying. They're just not dying. So many transfuses have been used. There's still, what, 10, 12 transfuses with all of that royalty. Corruptors in the main base, taking out the Nexus, and this is absolutely game over. I'm surprised we haven't seen a GG yet, and there we go. MaxPax taps out, and Dark takes game number 1. Good old Dark with the Link Queen NYDUS. It's actually insane how often that build works. Like, how often it gets him in a good spot, how often he just straight up wins with it. I'm not even sure if it's actually that good a build. When I look at it, when I think about it, I mean, it has very obvious issues, right? Like, you can't kill cannons that are hidden or stuck behind other buildings. You don't have any damage output whatsoever to speak of. Like, literally the only damage you have is the links that can connect with buildings and the queens that can shoot at something from a bit of a distance. But the actual damage output is so little. The one thing you do have is a very sustained type of push. It's easy to reinforce with a lot of links. Because your queen count is so high and you have lots of transfuses, your queens will most likely not die very quickly. Protoss at this point in time usually also actually doesn't have too many units to shoot with, so they need to rely on mainly cannons. If your cannons aren't done at the start of the push, yeah, life could get hard. Or if your cannons are somewhat exposed, yeah, life could get hard. In the case of MaxPax, he was attacking into carriers. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have carriers, but we saw Dark just throw down a couple of spores as well. The queens managed to transfuse those, and your interceptors are just going to run out so darn quick. It's actually insane. So yeah, I like the build, but we've seen it so much out of Dark. And also, like I mentioned before, the tell is relatively obvious. So I'm surprised that so many Protoss players are still just straight up dying to it, or at least being put in a position where they die afterwards. Although I say that, I still believe that if MaxPax had moved across the map immediately with the 5 Tempest 2 carrier, would have waited for his own robotics facility to pop out an immortal, or an observer, to then later clear his third base, I think he could have dealt a lot of damage there. With carriers you can actually clear drones, and with the Tempest you could have one-shot basically every queen. You fly in between the main and the third base. If the first 6-7 Corruptors come out, you're still capable of fighting that as well. You can probably almost one-shot that. I actually think that MaxPax could have put himself in a slightly better position. I mean, anything was a better position than being straight up dead. And that's the position he ended up putting himself in. So, yeah, he definitely could have put himself in a better position. Anyway, enough about that last game. Let's focus on this one for now. So we see a Stargate coming out. Second, no, that's a first Adept. Sorry. No Chrono Boost on the Adepts means that most likely they won't be moving out across the map. Warp Gate gets constructed as well right now as Dark sees this probe move away. One Ling is set up for a run by. Probably not go in until the Overlord spots the Adept. That is the standard, at least, majority of the time. Just kind of idle this Ling here. And if that Ling never goes in, it will be a spotter for any Oracle move out. So it's like a double function. Not a double spy. It's not quite James Bond. It's just, you know, if you're a postman and at night you work at a call center or something. And then at some point during the day you have both jobs at the same time. So while you're delivering post, you're also calling. And it's kind of what this Ling is. I've always wanted to work at a call center. I feel like it would be a good atmosphere, you know, lots of people talking around you. I already talk to a computer screen now for entire days. And usually I have no response, so it'd be really sick to finally have someone talk back on the other side. Okay, enough with this Ling. Let's follow this Oracle. Some people told me the other day that most likely the pilot of the Oracle is in the green ball. I found that rather unlikely. I haven't done any lore checks yet, but I'm thinking of sending a big email to Blizzard, asking if they can finally explain this mystery to me. This seems like a bad call, by the way. Using your first Oracle fly-in to take out a creep tumor is actually a waste. Not of energy, but of time. Feels like this is the timing where you have the biggest chance of actually getting some damage done, and you waste a lot of HP and basically the surprise effect by attacking that creep tumor. He killed a creep tumor and a drone and lost basically, well, every piece of hit points at this point, which is not good. Really not good. Second Oracle is gonna come in. We'll take out one more drone. No, we'll not take out one more drone. MaxPax too afraid to truly commit to that. Did get one shot off. Also took 3 HP in hull damage. Needs to be careful. Twilight has to follow up 2 more gateways as well. This is going to be 4-gate blink here. Coming out of our Danish Protoss player. Ooh, wait, what do we have? This is a Roach all in, isn't it? Yeah, Roach Queen Walk. Okay. Just realized I didn't put the score down properly. That's my bad. Of course, already was 1-0 for Dark. Yeah, with these queens, I don't think this build is good. I'm just gonna say it right now. This build has lost pretty much all of its viability after the patch. Once again, a huge supply block at an important moment here for Dark. This is very silly. This actually is getting quite silly. This was an important moment to produce a lot of links. Now he can finally start morphing some Ravagers as well. That was kind of weird. Triple batteries are on the way. Is there a forge with this? There is a forge with this. Not a single cannon has been constructed. I like the batteries though, because a lot of the DPS right now is going to be in the Stalkers. If you can keep those alive, it would be huge. Cannon maybe in the natural wouldn't hurt too much. These Stalkers are now starting to shoot. And we're gonna need good control out of MaxPax. Don't forget, the moment these queens run out of life, they're gonna die, because Transfuse will just not be a viable tool here. Can we get a super battery in one of these two? No, we can't. Both of these batteries are now empty. Blink is halfway done. Super battery should get activated. There we go. It pops. As the third Oracle also comes in. Now, this is really smart, continuing Oracle production against this. And that is just because the moment these queens run out of life, the Oracles will be the king. Not just of the sky, but also of the ground. Queen's gonna get targeted down here, at least by these Oracles. Queens try to fight back and actually having a pretty decent fight so far. However, the entire ground force for Dark has pretty much disappeared. One more Oracle gets constructed right now. A couple more Biles not going to connect. You have Blink, well, still not done, but it's so darn close. More links coming in, and it's hard to say what actually is happening here exactly. I think these Stalkers and these probes will end up dying. We see 6 drones being constructed right now here for Dark. I think that's probably a good call. Well, if these probes stay alive, that would be huge. That actually would be huge. Doesn't seem like a huge deal, but I really do believe it would be kind of big. Oh. Bile's not going to connect with anything there whatsoever. Stalker blinks back. Okay, probes stay alive. Stalker stay alive. MaxPax in a fantastic position here. Dark accidentally rallied 3 Overlords across the map as well. That means that those get taken out for free. Might potentially supply block him again in the future as well. Oh, there we go. One more. 73 out of 82. A couple of roaches already are being produced. But if you're building roaches while down 14 workers against someone massing blink Stalkers, life usually ain't all that great. And I think that's what basically the case here. We have +1, we have charge coming out right now. We'll see a fort base being plopped down soon here for MaxPax. And I wouldn't even mind... Oh, we already built a couple of extra oracles. Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't mind continuous oracle production, but going up to 3 initially until you get your fort base rolling is a pretty decent way to handle this situation. Honestly though, 51 workers against 66. Dark will never be capable of building a fort base in his life. Roach speed is still pretty far away as well, which means that all of these fights will be fairly beneficial for MaxPax. If he micros this correctly, huge stasis ward is going to force field off this area with these roaches, but at the same time also disable a lot of these roaches, paralyze them temporarily, and they can't do anything. Forge is now on the way. This is a second forge actually, and it's interesting to see. MaxPax wants to go into that hero style, the charge lot, stalker, double upgraded stuff that hero introduced a while ago. These stalkers are moving in. Should actually be careful. This is not a very good position at all to fight in. I mean, It's funny to me that MaxPax is being aggressive. I understand why he is. I mean, he's fighting against a roach army without speed. But at the same time, he's up, what, like almost 20 workers, like 17 workers up. He's up a base. He's going to get way better upgrades. It is not necessary for him to attack, but he can. It is safe for him to do so. Like, he's not gonna die because of this. Unless he takes an absolutely terrible engagement, but MaxPax is not one to usually take terrible engagements. Fort base about to finish up. We have an infestation pit on the way here for Dark, but that seems a little bit silly. He's gonna get a couple of infestors out, I guess. Wants to play like Infestor, Ravager, Roach. Eventually transition into Lurker. That seems to be the plan, but I don't really see the plan work. MaxPax could already be eyeing a 5th base as well at this point. And one of the main issues for Dark, it isn't even that his position is terrible. It is that there's no way that he can do something back. There's no comeback mechanic for him right now. Usually, if you play against Stalker Zealot or Mass Stalker, you can do bailing run-bys or bailing drops and you can come back in a game like that. But because Dark is playing pure Roach Ravager, he has no way of counter-attacking, which means he can't deal any damage, he can't stop the quick expansions out of MaxPax, and every fight he takes is going to be, well, it's going to be at least even for MaxPax. So that means that MaxPax is outmining his opponent, is always taking better fights or even fights. So technically MaxPax could just fight the entire time and eventually just Dark would just run out of stuff. One important thing is that MaxPax ideally continuously cancels the fort base that Dark has. That is somewhat important. MaxPax actually going to ignore it and send Zealots in towards the natural. I think that might be also completely fine. I was going to say a mistake, but I really don't care, honestly. He's winning so darn hard that it feels impossible for Dark to split any roaches off, especially if you have Ravagers in your composition. I mean, they're just terrible when split off. There's a bunch of Zealots going ham in the main base. The pool's being sniped right now. Not like Dark wanted to build any links. Oracle's going ham. GG gets called, and the series is all tied up 1-1. And because it's a best of 3, we're going to see a 3rd game here as well. That's the beauty when player 1 takes map 1 and player 2 takes map 2. We get to see a 3rd one between these two fantastic players. I'm kind of happy with that. I like both Dark and MaxPax. What is this? 17 hatch? Oh god. Don't show this to Lambo. It might actually freak out. Wait, what's he doing? Okay. I just was gonna check if there was any pro blocking. That makes some sense, at least. Now, 17 hatch, for the reason why I'm a bit weirded out. I'll explain it to you all. 17 hatch is objectively worse. 17 hatch has a slightly later queen in the natural, a slightly later larva as well in the natural. It is worse. It's simply worse. It's not better. It has no advantages. It's worse. So if you see a Zerg go for a 17 hatch for no reason, you're going to be a little bit confused, which is why I'm a little bit confused. I know that Ragnarok did it for a while with like 17 hatch. He even started with like an extractor trick as well, which once again is also just worse for no real reason. It just makes very little sense to me. We see Dark kind of rally into gas a little bit faster than is usual as well, which is interesting. Means that he's going to get a quicker speed. Could indicate something of a link flood. Could also just mean that he wants to get slightly faster speed to not have to deal with any type of adepts. So far, MaxPax didn't really seem super keen though on using any type of adepts. It is somewhat surprising. Look at this. Look at this bad boy, this probe. Minerals in his mouth, stolen from the opponent. Gets to see everything. This guy put in the work, you know. He comes back home. He deserves to be paid. These other guys, I'm not so sure. I guess they've also been working. They've just been mining their own minerals. They haven't been endangering their lives. I always feel like that the probes in the main base are by far the most privileged ones, right? Like, these guys never see any real danger, especially the one on the rich patches. Like, these are never going to get transferred to a base. In like 90% of the games, the game will end before they ever see any type of action whatsoever. Or I guess if you're in the gas, it's even better. It wouldn't surprise me if in the gas there's like some radiation. Like, you see like this green glow around it. That does not look very healthy. If I had to... They're holding it with their mouth, right? They don't have... Like, their hands are further down here. They're holding it with their mouth. Like, the box is actually covering their mouth. Do you think their wife notices it? You know, when they come back home and they kiss them. It's like, hey, honey, how was your work day? It's like, ooh. In the geyser again, huh? Yeah. In the geyser again. I bet it tastes weird. It takes a couple of years of your life. Then again, Protoss seems somewhat immune to you know what most humans are a little bit vulnerable for. Like they grow very old naturally, that type of stuff. Maybe radiation is good for them, and these probes are uber privileged. You know, they live even longer. They grow like stronger arms or something. They look, I don't know, they look like they're made out of metal sometimes. Don't look very flexible. Zealots actually look somewhat flexible, you know? You feel like you could kind of bend a zealot around. You know? If you had a very small zealot for some reason. Like a zealot baby. I don't think there's any zealot babies in the campaign. Is there? Just in general, there's no babies in the entire campaign. No human babies either. Maybe people just stopped having kids? That's unlikely. Fairly odd. Never really even considered that. I guess Zergs technically are all babies. Oh, look at that! Couple of pandas having a dancing good old time around the campfire. Guys playing the drums. Alright, enough about the campaign and dancing pandas. You have an oracle that's revelating, so that is interesting stuff. This creep tumor could have been taken out, but MaxPax decides to focus on the natural base instead. 1, 2... No, just 1, 2 for now. Going to take out 2 of these drones. This one killed nothing. Well, I think he killed either a tumor or a ling or something along them lines. Double Adept is going to start moving in, and just like that, Lings finish up means that every single Adept will get taken out, and all that Dark lost is what, like 3 Lings. Very good trade here for the Zerg player. A trade that if I was a Zerg would always want to take. +1 is being constructed here as well for these Lings. Ooh. Ooh. Boom. Gets taken out. Second one gets to live. At the same time, these 2 oracles in the main actually doing absolutely nothing. Blink M +1 is on the way right now. You have continuous worker production as well. This is always a bit of an awkward situation for Zerg as well, I feel like. If you're playing like a low gas style, you want to get a bunch of links out. At least that's what it feels like to me. You want to get a bunch of links out, but at the same time you also don't want to fall too far behind when it comes to the worker count. I'm curious how Dark is going to manage that. Okay, he's going to go up to what? 69, 70 workers for now. Fort base is practically done. What's the queen count? We're at 6 right now. Floating a little bit of money though. Definitely floating a bit of money, which is odd because he's already built a macro hatch in the main as well. Just struggling to spend his money. Hydra then is going to be the follow-up, as well as a Baneling nest. This is something we've seen a lot lately. It's just a pure Hydra Link Bane attack against these low gas styles. Now, do I like that? Yeah, I actually kind of do like that. You can play Hydra Link Bane of multiple drone counts. You can go for 74, 75, but I've even seen people go up to as high as 85, 86 to have a more constant stream of Banelings and Links and basically everything, because you just have way more money. Your initial timing is just a little bit weaker. Dark is going for, I don't want to call this an all-in, because there is some eco backing this up, but this is a dedicated pressure. Alright, this is not going to be rolling in Banelings the entire time if he goes for it. He's building 3 more drones right now, so maybe those 14 Hydras are just for safety initially. Is of course a real possibility. +2 melee is being researched as well. So the queen returns back to its main base and second queen joins to inject the macro hatch as well. Yeah, with +2 melee, I really would not mind seeing a 5th base first of all, and then 5, 6 more drones, maybe even going up to 6, perhaps 7 gases. Hydras are very, very gas heavy, and there's 0 Banelings out right now. The gas bank isn't all that large. Here comes a potentially good flank. Sentries are with this army, are going to force field, but won't do very much. Sentries will just die for free basically. And the thing with this is that it probably feels to MaxPax that he's more committed to this area because of the sentries than he really should have been. He should have been blinking back immediately the moment he got surrounded. That was a huge error of judgment. And he's gonna take a loss there in that fight, which is not something you really want. 44 links in production. 67 drones are out currently. Yeah, this is looking absolutely fabulous right now here for Dark. This actually is looking great. If he can hit a time, well, it isn't really going to be a timing. If he's just going to hit the other side, I think he will win. Look at this. He's just running past the Stalker saying, hey, blink, buddy, blink. I dare you. I double dare you. And now the surround comes in. Hydras are closing in as well. One more blink is available. And these Stalkers now, yeah, I mean, 3, 4 more Stalkers get taken out there in the recall. Great start of the game here for Dark, who, in my mind, can just morph in, what, like 25, 30 Banelings, straight up win the game. Just go for it. I mean, you're fighting against a player who's on pure Stalker. There's a couple of Zealots that are going for a run by right now. I'd love to see a Robo for a Prism. Honestly, against Hydra, yeah, Prisms are fantastic to have. Fantastic to have. They really are. 45 Banelings being constructed. Yeah, this is pretty much what I was talking about. One Oracle is going to get taken out for free. How in the world is MaxPax going to deal with that? He'll need to warp in some sentries and send around a bunch of these Zealots as well. You need a counterattack with Zealots, but we already have so many Banelings moving in towards this fort base. There's not enough defenses there. At the same time, Dark is cutting this army off of trying to help the defense of that fort base. Banelings moving in. Probes are actually going to survive. We have a Stalker warp in here over at the fort base. Dark actually not trading so well. For now, single Baneling moving in towards the natural. Gets 10 worker kills. Super battery gets activated here. Cannon in the back, battery in the front. Not the ideal setup. Banelings are rolling through. At the same time, we saw a couple of Zealots move in, but Lynx makes short work of that. And that means that, well, I think that Dark just wins this game. And with this game also wins the series. Hydras will get pushed back, but there's so many Lynx still on the map. 63. Macro Hatch really putting in overtime here with that larva production as well. Huge fan of that, as always. And these Lynx are going to be taking out them Zealots. We'll get on top of the Stalkers as well. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be it. MaxPax is still coming to terms with it, losing 30 workers, trying to desperately warp in individual Stalkers. GG gets called. Dark wins 2-1. And that's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this series. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks, and bye-bye.